Okay, now what we're going to do is start to tell the stories. And again, I'd like to ask everyone to try to limit theirs to a maximum of 10 minutes because of the number of stories that we have. What I'm going to do is start with my story. I was with the 417th Night Fighter Squadron, and I was PFC Rich Ziebart with the MOS 850 as a radar mechanic. My serial number was 161-39904. I had enlisted in the cadets. My story begins in high school in 1943 when I enlisted in the Air Force cadet program at the age of 17 years, dreaming that I would fly those fighter planes. By enlisting, I was allowed to finish high school before induction into the service. The cadet program was filled when I finished basic training, and I was then fortunate to be sent to radio school in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and then to Scottsfield, Illinois. After 40 weeks in the two places, I never did graduate because both schools were closed. My trip then to the European theater of war came in January of 1946, and it took me to the 417th Night Fighter Squadron. And that was located at that time in Rothwesten, Germany, near Kassel. I reported to Captain Ted DeKine, who was the commander, along with two of us other boys that also had radio schooling. I was told to report to the radar maintenance department. The two other men were assigned to the radio maintenance department. Lieutenant Mushaw, who had come from the 415th into the 417th, was the head of the radar group, and it consisted of Sergeant Terry Carter, Corporals Angelo D'Orazio, J.J. Donahue, and myself. In February, Tech Sergeant Mike Lamoureux joined our radar group as radar chief, and he became my mentor for radar repair. Rothwesten was located on the east-west border of Germany, and the Russian soldiers always marched along the airfield, so we had to protect those planes. It was feared that they may wish to steal the radar sets from the P-61s, so we moved from Rothwesten to Kassel, Fritzlar, or Fritzlar Kassel, sorry about that. Mike had a Gold Dust twin, Tech Sergeant Frank Bolinsky, who became the radio chief for radio maintenance. These two guys worked closely together, and both Mike and Boley brought experience of radar to the 417th, which was needed at that time because of the troops that had left and gone home. Both had re-enlisted for a year, and after Mike had flown 43 missions in a B-24 as a radio operator, radar operator, and waist gunner with the Jolly Rogers in the Pacific, he returned and came back to us at the 417th. Frank Bolinsky had been a radar instructor for many of the ROs and radar repair technicians throughout the war, so any radar technician or radar operator probably had some training from Bolinsky. We called him Boley. He remained in the service, and he retired from service to his country after working on the bomb navigation systems on the B-36, the B-47, the B-52, and the A-47. Terry Carter was a B-29 gunner graduate, and he had been in a near fatality when the B-29 he was in crashed, landed, and it broke apart. No one was killed in the accident, but it's ruined his opportunities and feelings to ever fly again. And he was, I think now he finally is able to fly, but he couldn't be with us today because of some health problems. Angelo D'Orazio and J.J. Donahue were both trained in radar maintenance and helped to build a GCI station in Fritzlar, Germany. Angelo is deceased, but his lovely wife Betty is with us today. None of the other men could be here today due to either health or spouse's health. I felt they all deserved to be a part of this event, so I wanted to include them in my story. Thank you very much.